wonderful knowledge and information that we'll share with you in the next few hours. We're going to take a look now at chemicals, a Middle East pillar industry during a decisive decade of opportunity. And I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome for our second keynote speech the President and the Chief Executive Officer of Saudi Aramco. Please welcome Mr. Khalid Al Faleh.
Bismillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sabah al-khair jami'an. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to each and every one of you. It gives me also great pleasure to deliver this address and to express my appreciation to the Gulf Petrochemicals and Chemicals Association for the important and crucial role it has played and it continues to play in placing the region as a major hub for the global chemical industry. Chemical products, of course, are vital to each of us as institutions and individuals. But the petrochemical sector itself is also pivotal for our national and regional economies, since it serves as both an enabling industry and an important driver of broad economic development. Today, I will first take stock of the many achievements of the Gulf's petrochemical sector, and then take a look at the major challenges it faces between now and 2020. A period which I believe will be a decisive decade of opportunity and potentially far-reaching transformation. The next 10 years, ladies and gentlemen, will be in many ways a golden age for our region in terms of economic conditions and commercial opportunities for our companies. But we also face many structural and demographic hurdles and challenges. We must therefore seize this moment before it passes. In the second part of my remarks, I intend to outline three vital areas where the industry needs to do more in order to achieve business as well as national and regional economic objectives, before closing with a proposed set of demanding yet doable targets for the Gulf's petrochemical and chemical sector. Ladies and gentlemen, this year global chemical sales will total roughly $3.5 trillion. That is nearly 4 times the combined GDP of the GCC nations. Worldwide, the industry directly employs more than 10 million people and enables the indirect employment of another 50 million people or more. Here in the Gulf, petrochemical firms can and should take pride in 3 decades of remarkable growth. 30 years ago, our region was a net importer of chemicals, while this year GCC chemicals production will be around $40 billion, with the vast majority of that exported to global markets. In the last decade alone, both production and exports have multiplied more than 6-fold in value terms, and they have been driven upwards by both rising global prices, but also significantly by significant growth in volume, which is a very impressive achievement indeed. And yet, when we consider the enormous impact the industry has had in other parts of the world, particularly in terms of value addition and job creation, our enthusiasm is somewhat dampened. And we must concede that the Gulf's chemical sector can and should do much more in the future. To date, our petrochemical enterprises have been built largely on the competitive advantage derived from gas-based feedstocks, with refinery petrochemical integration only now starting to emerge. This area of the business, which offers many opportunities for product diversification and value addition downstream, has significant room for growth in the Gulf. and Saudi Aramco intends to take an active role in realizing this potential. Furthermore, as I mentioned earlier, our economies still face structural challenges related to industrialization, economic diversification, and employment creation, particularly for our emerging young people. Without a doubt, ladies and gentlemen, we enjoy significant energy advantages. The GCC is home to reserves approximately 40% of the global proven reserves and nearly a quarter of its natural gas reserves, enabling us to be a big player in basic petrochemical commodities. But is the Gulf pulling its weight when it comes to the wider petrochemical and chemical industry? The answer is, unfortunately, no. Because when we consider downstream conversion and finished products, that is areas of the value chain that are much richer in terms of value and employment potential, the broader region has a lot of catching up to do. Consider that the Gulf's share of the global chemical production is only 1.5%. Note that Europe's 60,000 chemical companies employ more than 1.2 million people. And think about the fact that on that continent, Europe, chemicals stand second only to pharmaceuticals in terms of value added per employee, more than 80% higher than the combined average of all manufacturing sectors. So how do chemical industries elsewhere in the world generate such massive revenues, contribute so much to their national GDP, and create so many good jobs, all economic areas where our region needs to perform better in the future? The simple answer is wide product diversity and immense downstream value addition. In other words, they go far beyond petrochemicals to supply specialty and performance chemical products to industries like automotives, construction, electronics, textiles, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, and others.